Hello and welcome to week 3. I just wanted to jump into this assignment and give you guys a little bit of an overview here of what I'm thinking. Um, this will be the first time for some of you to experience the full user experience process and to figure out what that really means from start to finish. I've got a little link here, user experience process, that would probably be a really good idea for you guys to look at. I'm just going to do a little kind of a swift overview on this. User experience, boiling it down to a nutshell here. And this is again kind of a complete guide here you guys could look at. I'm just going to leave this list up here because this is pretty important stuff. Yeah, read through what is user experience, what does it do? So just a very brief overview here. User experience is a wide field that gets used across many disciplines to really dictate how someone's experience is through a lot of different things. User experience can be used for product design. User experience can be used for in-house brick and mortar. It can be used for online experiences of any kind. It's really anything. It's the analysis of anything that makes a user's process through whatever, just sitting down in a chair, what makes that process better can be analyzed and broken down in a systematic way. That's the user experience process. User experience can be applied to darn near anything. We are applying it specifically to the web, and that's kind of one of the newer rollouts of user experience. It's been around for a long time. User experience process, step by step though. User experience can be boiled down to kind of one simple philosophy: test something with users and see how they react to it. That's about it. Now, there's a lot of phases that go into that process. And this article kind of helps with that a little bit. But let's just scroll down to some of the process here, just to kind of talk to you about this a little bit. UX process. And what we're going to do for the first part of the process is research. So on this assignment, the whole point of user experience is to do a little bit of research before the project, which is kind of, again, what I have you guys do a little bit in this project. So I'm going to scroll down a little bit and talk about this project a little bit. So what you're going to be doing here is designing a website. You've done some HTML and CSS in the previous steps, that kind of thing as a review, but we haven't done a full kind of a holistic overview of a business and then designed a site based on that research. So this is with user experience. The difference between pure user experience and pure web design is you guys are given this group of criteria from a client. So I'm saying you guys can do a small business website. I've messaged you, several of you people, after your initial videos, and you guys all kind of have different domains of study. There's a lot of computer science people in here. There's some people who are like English. There's English literature majors, things of that nature. Graphic design people. We all kind of come at this from a different standpoint. Each one of you can kind of pick a different business. So if you're a game design person, you could pick a game business if you wanted to, or a site that hosts a game if you'd like. The content of the company is up to you, and I'd like you to pick something that works with your major and your portfolio, but it has to have a minimum of 5 pages. Now, these are kind of standard pages that you'd get on any website. These are the ones I want included. It should probably have more than 5 pages, but I would minimally want these kinds of pages. Now, the services page is a little negotiable. Staff page is a little negotiable. If you're doing a game design website or something different, you could definitely change the content on these pages. But minimally, I would like the pages can be for real or fictional business. Now, what I would caution you against, don't pick a business that has a really good website already. That's not something you want to try to redesign, is somebody's website that's already halfway decent. Each page can have 1 picture minimum on there, 150 to 300 words of copy on each page, which we can use fake copy for that now. Now, what I'm wanting you guys to do realistically with this thing is do some research. So I'm just going to scroll down here. As I was saying, the first step in the UX design process is research. I'm getting there. This is the research section. Okay, so your proposal is going to have some default things in it. Design proposals in general always have certain sections, and these sections are just to clarify. Okay, and we'll talk about this a lot more in user experience too. We're just kind of taking a stab at writing these things. You always want some kind of, I'm going to go ahead and break this down and then get into the research a little bit more here. And I've got some examples of design proposals. You want to Google these a little bit before you attempt to make one. But the objectives, minimally, what you're going to be doing, sitting down with the client and writing down these objectives: who, what, when, where, why. What does the website need to accomplish? Envision you've talked to a client. The client has laid out what the issues are with the website, whether it's a rebuild or a fresh build. You are going to, in your summary of that, there's a summary of meeting the client. What are the objectives? What did the client say? Who, what, who, and what? What are we doing here? What's the point of the project? After you state that, you want some recommendations. How do you, as a design professional, expect this project to go? What are the steps? You can even put steps here, bullet points. Step 1 will be doing this. Step 2 will be doing this. Again, there's no, I want you guys to know there's no concrete way to write a project. You all kind of develop your own flavor over time as you do this stuff. The most important part is the user research section, though. So this is really kind of the main bulk of what user experience is all about. And really good design these days is all about user research. We are talking about finding a target market and a target audience. Okay. How do you do that? You Google it, right? So for instance, say if you wanted to see how many people, like say if you're going to do let's say your idea was a coffee house of some kind, like you're going to do a small business website for a coffee house. Let's say that coffee house is in, St. Charles, just because that's where Lindenwood is. You could Google how many people in St. Louis, what are the demographics of people that drink coffee? Studies like that have already been done. What are the United States? What are the demographics of people that drink coffee? How old are they? What kind of income brackets do they come from? Googling this yields a surprising amount of information. Now, when you Google this stuff, I want you guys to grab the details, copy them, and paste them into your proposal, just like you would a research paper, and save the links for that stuff. If you can get good graphics to put in there, any kind of charts and graphs that indicate what the target market looks like, how much does the target market make? That's the important stuff. The money, how much is the target market worth, and who are they? What are their behaviors, which we'll get into a little bit more. I just want you guys to take a stab at doing some Googling and figuring out for your website that you're going to build, what is the target market you're gunning for? That's fairly important. Schedule, how long should it take? Now, you could take just a stab at this. How many hours does it take to build a website? Again, you guys are going to have about a week, 2 weeks to do roughs on these things and then finish it out. But that's the idea, is you have some kind of indication in there in the real world how long this would take. Again, if you just want to envision a project that would take, a full-scale project that would take a few weeks, you can map it out like that. Now, the point of the schedule on this is generally to keep you and the client in lockstep. You want to give deliverables in this section. You want to say how long it's going to take to have things done. Like, let's say, week 1, I'm going to get the homepage and the about page roughed out. I'm going to put pictures on the homepage. That should be, I'm going to need copy from you as the client. I'm going to need the wording from you as the client and the pictures by the end of week 1 for me to get this thing done. You can give yourself and your client deadlines in this section. Pretty important. Budget. How much does this cost? That's a fairly important section to have as well, obviously. Now, costs and things of that nature, this is some of the things that are difficult to figure out, and maybe things that you don't quite know how to do yet in your careers, put a price on your services. We'll kind of talk about this a little bit more as we go. How do you come up with your costs? How do you figure out how much everything's worth? Quick method. I think you should take literally everything you do as a individual who indulges in design or computer science or whatever you do, time it. Put a timer on everything. There's a great website called Toggle. is a time tracking website that allows you to track your time for free. I use this all the time with my clients. You can log into this. There's an app you can put on your phone, and literally all this does is track your time. You can log in, you can specify what project you're working on, you hit a button, and the thing tracks how long you do stuff. If you track absolutely everything you do, you will know how long it takes you to do something. Then you can break down how much you need to get paid based on how long it takes, right? It makes sense. You're trying to give yourself kind of an hourly wage with projects. Generally, projects will get quoted a bunch of different ways. And in UX2, we go over a whole bunch more of these methodologies. There's a lot of ways to quote projects. And really it just comes down to how much you want to get paid and how much your services are worth and how much experience you have. Those are the kind of conversations, if you guys want some one-on-ones, great times to schedule some conversations with me about payment structure, and I can fill you in on that a little bit more closely. Simple contract, plain language contract. I want you guys to kind of spitball this stuff, and then I'll give you critique on whether it's any good. Google a plain language design contract and try to find one like that. Smaller is better for a contract. You want to state who's paying you, what are they paying you for, when things are due. And that's about it. You don't need much else. Okay, website wireframes and mockups. So you guys are going to be doing paper prototyping for these things, right? Okay, so the paper prototyping you guys are going to do, we're going to work into doing more involved paper prototypes. The first kind I want you guys to do is a website wireframe and a sitemap. This here, this first picture, is a website wireframe. Now, this is digital. I want you guys to do this by hand. Do a hand-drawn website wireframe. A wireframe is a very, very simple, just comprised of boxes. I don't even want you to have text in this thing. Like if we just Google hand-drawn website wireframe and we look at some of the pictures on this stuff, this is what I'm talking about. Maybe not even this detailed. So this is a good example of a website wireframe. Here we go. Here's Pinterest delivers here. So I'm going to close that actually and just do the larger picture. Any one of these. If we look at just this entire Google search, we don't even need to frame one out. This is a good one here. Look at the details on these very quick website wireframes. Just by glancing in these things, just based on the shape, this one says logo, right? You can see the little box with the shaded logo. This indicates a video placement. We got column placement. We got text placement, all sketched up very quickly. The idea with these is to do these fast. A website wireframe shouldn't take you more than something of this nature, maybe 15 minutes at the very most, if you're really taking your time on it. The idea is to do these things faster and quicker and more easily, and a lot of times sitting right there with the client. We do these at where I work. We mock these things up and hand draw them right in front of the client. And that way the client is kind of on the same page with us. Clients don't know what they want their website to look like. It's up to you to help them figure that out. And a wireframe is step one in paper prototyping. So I want you guys to take a stab at doing some wireframes. I want a wireframe for each unique page. If these pages have unique layouts, do a different wireframe for each one. They might not. Now, by necessity, usually they'll have different content on the pages, so the layout will be different. But only mock up the layouts that will be different. If the home page has the same basic layout as the about page, just indicate that on your first wireframe. Do one wireframe and say home page and about page have the same layout. Content will differ. And so you feel free to write on these things. Do some note taking on these things. Sitemap. This is all a sitemap is. It's very simple. It's a flow chart. It's a flow chart that shows how many pages in your website and which pages link to the other pages. This is like a checklist. This shows the client how many things you guys have to do on this website. It's an organizational document. So, website wireframe, hand-drawn. Sitemap, hand-drawn. That's kind of the idea. And a basic proposal that touches on each one of these items is what I'm looking for this week. Now, again, keep in mind, this is all organizational details and things of that nature. Take the whole thing if possible. Excuse me. Package the whole thing as a PDF. I'd like you to package the whole thing when you're done. If you're not sure how to do a packaged PDF, let me know, and I can help you out with that. But I've got a couple of videos in here on writing proposals and things of that nature that I'd like you to watch to kind of refine these things a little bit. that's the idea for this week. So proposal, website wireframe mockup. We're going to make this thing into an actual website during the next phase, but those are kind of our deliverables for this week. You got any questions? Let me know. This week I should be setting up, hopefully tonight, a Discord server that we can kind of talk on, and I will hopefully have regular meetings as well on there to kind of get the discussions going and things of that nature, and help you guys out with questions and things like that. As always, if you have any issues, let me know. Email me, send me a message on Canvas, on Teams, and I'll help you out. Thanks. Good luck.